This episode of Cereal at Midnight is brought to you by coconuts, because it's a snack that's going to make you work for it. Coconut.
The signals might be bounced from transmitter to satellite.
Cereal at midnight, we won't have a party till the morning light.
High in the sky, the third stage burns out.
It's people. Cereal at midnight is people. Guys, what's going on? Hello and welcome to the latest installment of Fresh Flavors. This is Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath. I will be your maestro of mad science for this episode. We're talking about new releases from a variety of companies. I got a lot of stuff here that it really runs the whole spectrum. We've got mainstream, very popular stuff. We've got boutique stuff. We've got artsy cinema. We've got exploitation stuff. Covering a wide spectrum here. But you know what? Before we get started, I'm going to talk about some upcoming contests because that's important. I should also say Fresh Flavors, not a review video. It's like a, hey, this is out now. Reviews always show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. If you're a subscriber and you've clicked that bell notification thingamajiggy, you always know when a new review has been posted. Guys, coming up on our social media platforms, all our contests are now on social media because you can't give things away on YouTube when people don't come back to see who won. So, we have 2 copies of Final Justice from MVD Entertainment. This is part of the MVD Rewind collection. Fantastic release. I've reviewed this at CerealAtMidnite.com. If you like Graydon Clark, if you like joysticks, it's a Texas Justice movie. It takes place in the Mediterranean. Big production values. It's a huge movie for Graydon Clark. Has a feature-length making of documentary with Graydon Clark and so many people that were involved in it. Also has a commentary track. It's loaded. We're giving away 2 copies to you guys. Also from 88 Films, we've got new copies of The Flag of Iron and Legendary Weapons of China that will be going to 2 of you as well. So stay tuned. It's an exciting time to be, a fan of physical media. All right, let's jump right into it. We got a lot of ground to cover. I want to kick things off with Supergirl, the complete 6th and final season. This brings us full circle. The collection is now complete. The series is over. This is the final season. They're also issuing a complete series collection box set. I don't have that because I have been buying them all along. And, I gotta say, so let's see. Why does it match? Why did they do that? Why did you do that to me, Warner Brothers? Oh, I should say this is a Warner Brothers product, so I need to let you know. Hold on, here it comes. I was provided a free copy of Supergirl, the 6th and final season by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. The opinions expressed are my own. Thanks, guys. It's an honor to be able to talk about this, though. I try to make light of the legalese, but I love Superman. Superman's my favorite. I love Superman. I really do. Superman was so, as a kid, being a comics fan during that whole Death of Superman storyline, it was huge, and it was so powerful for me, and it made me a Superman fan, forever. The older I've gotten, the more I've appreciated him, but we didn't have a Superman show for the longest time. We had Smallville, which was a version of Superman, boink, there he is. I love that series. I love that box set, but we never got, big budget Superman, on the small screen, here you go, here's Superman. Supergirl fit that need when nothing else could or would do it. They brought the Krypton mythology to television. And I've seen a lot of criticisms about the show that range from ew, girls, to, a lot of these shows have a trajectory, right? You've got Arrow, you've got Flash, you've got even the Legends of Tomorrow stuff. Anytime you have a series that runs for many seasons, there's going to be some attrition, there's going to be some falling off. I love what Supergirl has managed to do in the time that it was on the air. And they brought so much of that DC Comics mythology to my screen. Things that I never thought. The way they handled Martian Manhunter, you guys, just from season 1. The way they handled John Jones. Oh my gosh. It is just amazing stuff as far as like bringing the without the cynicism, without the, the way that some of this stuff ends up on the big screen is just like, ugh. They didn't do that. That's not really rooted in the comics. That anger and angst doesn't really come in the comics. That's for the movies, and it feels very disconnected from what I've always read. The TV shows really do tap into that sense of hope and optimism. Now we have the final season, and I just feel indebted to this show. This is the show that gave us Superman. That gave us the Superman that is now on the air. Superman and Lois. Shoot, man. I got it right here. Superman and Lois from the pages of Supergirl. Like, that's what season 2 was. It the premiere of season 2, I think. They bring in Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, and then we're off to the races. And now we have a weekly Superman show with no compromise. Hey, Superman's going to go fly to the other side of the world, shut down a nuclear reactor. Like, we have that. So it doesn't have to be this either or thing. We can just appreciate Supergirl for what it did, and it did a lot. And I'm so grateful for it. Well acted. I've loved Kyler Lee since Not Another Teen Movie. Way back in the, hey, that's getting a new Blu-ray, a pressed Blu-ray version with the unrated cut coming soon. There's a little Kyler Lee sidebar. Will it have the Marilyn Manson, was it Tainted Love, the video for that she's in? It's like a hot tub. I'm interested to see if that shows up on that disc or not. Anyway, this is available now. I think the black theming, that the reason they don't match is because this season is very focused. The theme of this season is death. I get it. I wish it matched just for my own collector OCD, but This has a farewell tribute to Supergirl and deleted scenes. It's the Blu-ray set. It does come with a digital code. Supergirl fans out there, represent. Let me know you're out there. I see so many criticisms about so many things. I want to hear from the fans. Let me know if you guys enjoy this stuff. Let's talk about some Warner Archive titles. Now, some of this stuff is also going to be covered in Classic Film Flavors Episode 3. Hold on. I'm trying to raise that third finger. All right. Why can't I raise my third finger? 3. There we go. It's like, huh? I'm trying! Drink the eggs. Bam! Okay, what a weird tangent. Do I start this video over? No, we press on. Classic Film Flavors Episode 3 has already been recorded. It has detailed discussion about Gold Diggers of 1933 and the Three Musketeers in that episode, but they're brand new, and this is going to go up before that, so I wanted to talk about them. Gold Diggers of 1933 is an amazing pre-code movie with things that you would never believe. If you haven't watched pre-code movies and you're like, movies in black and white are stupid, you will be amazed. You will be amazed at the nudity and the adult situations and the drug use, and there's no place for superiority when it comes to pre-code movies, because they were hot, man. And this is one of my absolute favorites. This is a classic through and through. It's been restored by Warner Archive, so they always do a great job. So it looks spectacular. It's got some great features. I'm just going to hold this up for you. And I should even say, this is reviewed right now at Cereal, right now at CerealAtMidnite.com. I'll link to that review in the description of this video as well, so that you can just scroll down. If you're watching this on your TV, maybe hop on your phone, click through it. Click through that link so you can go check out the review. Because this, what we're doing right now, I like to say this is not a review. This is just a conversation. This is not a review. Conversations do not take the place of a review. There's a place for a review. They're necessary to talk about what works, what doesn't work, connecting the dots, putting things in context. Check out the reviews for this stuff. So Gold Diggers in 1933, an amazing movie, now with an amazing Blu-ray. And The Three Musketeers is just like huge MGM 1948, I believe this. Yeah, it's like, is it 47 or 48? 1948. Gene Kelly as D'Artagnan. Soon he would be the Singing in the Rain guy. But before he picked up that umbrella, he had a sword. and the swashbucklers from this era. This is just like peak studio. This is how I write it in my review at CerealAtMidnite.com. I talk about how this period is kind of the peak for the studio system. This year, later that year, actually it was earlier that year, 1948, the ruling came down about how the studios basically had a monopoly. They owned the theaters. They were making the product that could only be shown in those theaters. It was, you can't do that. And that was the end of the studio system as we know it. Those huge production values would begin to decline. But this stands as the pinnacle. So it's a really epic Hollywood spectacular movie. Look, Lana Turner, Gene Kelly, June Allison, Van Heflin, Angela Lansbury, if you only know her from Murder, She Wrote. She's like 20-something in this movie. I think I want to say she's like 22 or something like that. Vincent Price is in this. He's Cardinal Richelieu in this film, although they never call him Cardinal because they did not want to upset the Catholic Church, who had this massive power at that time, and they would shut you down like that if they thought that there was something in your movie that was that bothers me. There's a trigger for me, the people that want to shut other people down just because they don't like what they do. So go check out the review, CerealAtMidnite.com. Also, I haven't reviewed this one yet, and I haven't talked about this one in Classic Film Flavors. So I talked about the other two. Edge of Darkness with Errol Flynn and Ann Sheridan. This is from 1943, made basically during World War II. Haven't watched it yet, haven't reviewed it yet, so I'm not going to get super in the weeds on this, but a very interesting and very powerful movie with... Errol Flynn, I was like, what do I want to say about Errol Flynn? There's a lot of rumors out there about him. There's a lot of things that we know are a fact. The name of his autobiography is My Wicked, Wicked Ways. Have that book. He's a very interesting fella, but I don't think any of that takes away from his screen work. He's one of the greats. And Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938. It's like one of the best movies ever made. He is an icon. All right, I don't even want to go there. We've gone far enough. Here's the special features that are attached to this one. We'll have a review for this one. I will have a review for this one coming up soon at CerealAtMidnite.com. From the good people at Paramount. This has been out for a few weeks now, so I'm going to be honest with you guys. There's things in this stack. I'm like, have we talked about this before? We've reached a point with Serial at Midnight, with all these new releases and with the way that I try to cover them, writing the reviews, doing the video spotlights. I can't keep track of what I have actually covered in videos and what I haven't. So if we've talked about some of this stuff before, just maybe it's your first time, right? Every video is somebody's first video. And if not, maybe it's a reiteration of something. Hey, Heath liked it so much he covered it twice. I know we haven't covered this though. Almost Famous is now out on the 4K, as the kids say. Now there's no Blu-ray here. This is just the 4K and a digital code. So if you're Blu-ray only and you want to, you be advised, no Blu-ray copy here. A lot of times I say future-proof your collection. Because you can get the 4K and it comes with the Blu-ray and it comes with the digital. Not so in the case of this edition. But this does have both cuts. It's got the theatrical cut and the bootleg cut. And it has, as far as I could tell, it has like all the special features from the previous editions that have been carried over. So it's even got greatest hits, intro by Cameron Crowe, the making of Almost Famous, interview with Lester Bangs, Cameron Crowe's top albums of 1973. Like the written reviews for Rolling Stone that he would write, his articles for Rolling Stone, those are here too. I'm looking for it. I know it's here somewhere. Anyway, it's loaded up. It's loaded. So I don't think there's any reason to hold on to the previous editions if you are 4K capable. I love this movie. I saw this movie in the theater. I think it was opening night. It might have been the next day. As I'm looking back on it, it might have been a Saturday, but I think it was a Friday night. I've loved this movie since it was new. It's Cameron Crowe at the peak of his powers because he's telling his autobiography, right? It's a very fictionalized, a slightly fictionalized version of his own real history. As being a young kid, I guess he was a teenager, but being young and writing for Rolling Stone, and then this experience of being out on the road, following these bands that he worshipped, but also trying to have some objectivity. It's an amazing story. And it's an amazing movie. Kate Hudson is magnificent in this movie. Jason Lee. There's Billy Crudup as I am a golden god. So much great stuff in this movie. I love it so much. Now it's on 4K. I think it got like a steelbook release last year, but now like everybody gets to play. From VCI, this is we had a lot to talk about with this one, you guys. This is the Santo. I'm not even gonna try because someone's gonna give me. They're gonna break my balls. I'm gonna try to say this and somebody's gonna break my balls about it. Santo. This is the Santo collection. It is 8 movies on Blu-ray. Now there's like 50 Santo movies. I think more. I have a book about the Santo movies. There's a lot of them. Santo is, of course, the legendary luchador, the Mexican wrestler who was so popular, who's so popular that they gave him a film series. Now I'm Dr. Phil, everybody. Santo, don't come in here and talk to me about Santo if you don't even like wrestling. What are you doing? It's so popular that they made him a film star, comic book hero, you name it. Santo is like one of the great cultural heroes of the Mexican culture. So here's the deal. Because this is surprise, it's a controversial release. But I can actually understand it in the case of this. Because, VCI Entertainment is who has released this. And these are Mexican movies. I think the first 2, which aren't here. This is like the greatest hits, I guess. These are the more horror focused films. I'll even tell you. So we got Santo in the Wax Museum, Santo in the Treasure of Dracula, which we'll talk more about that in a second. Santo versus the Riders of Terror, Santo in the Vengeance of the Mummy, Santo versus Frankenstein's Daughter, Santo in the Blue Demon versus Dracula and the Wolfman. That's amazing. Santo in the Blue Demon versus Dr. Frankenstein, and the Santo in Mantequilla Napoles in The Revenge of La Llorona. That's right, Santo versus La Llorona. The crying woman. He's going to suplex the crying woman. These are sort of the greatest hits of Santo. And it's great that we have them on Blu-ray because a lot of this stuff, I just read an article about how so many of these Mexican movies from this time period, the 50s and the 60s, were in horrible states of distress. And there were people that were saying, throw them into the fire. Just get rid of them. We don't want them. And we live in a time where that actually does happen. Allegedly, the Masters, 4 Masters of the Universe, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, I think some other shows as well, were destroyed by, who was that? Was that Hallmark? I can't remember who did it. Somebody destroyed, allegedly, destroyed the Masters of these TV series, these cartoons from the 80s. They're like, what do we need them for? It's mind-boggling that this could happen, but this is the world we're living in. So, contrary to that, a company got involved, and they are actively in the process of restoring and saving these movies, including the Santo series. Now, the problem with this release is, of course, these are Mexican movies shot in Spanish, and there is no Spanish language on these Blu-rays, and it is a problem, and I'm aware. But my time at Cereal at Midnight has taught me. I have so many relationships with. I'm fortunate enough to have relationships with people behind the scenes that make these things possible. Distribution guys, acquisitions guys, people that work on the features. I know a lot of people, and these decisions are not made for no reason. We don't know the reason, but I'm not willing to say like, well, then that's I'm sure there's a reason that there's only an English dub for these. And I should say, there are new English dubs for the movies that did not previously have English dubs. I think only 4 of them had English dubs to begin with. And a lot of that's attributed to K. Gordon Murray, who in the 60s... Now, if you saw my video with Daniel Griffith at Christmas time about the movie Santa Claus, the Mexican movie Santa Claus, the weirdest Santa versus Satan, right? Hopefully you've seen that video. If you haven't, go check it out. Daniel Griffith is the leading authority. He's the world's biggest authority on K. Gordon Murray, who is the man that brought those movies to America. Some horror movies from the 50s as well. But he brought several of the Santo movies as well. And there was an American International version of Santo in the Wax Museum with a K. Gordon Murray dub. So that's the version that's here. They've given it a new opening. because maybe because of the American International connection. I don't know. Maybe that was hardwired in to that print. That version is on YouTube, and it looks like butt. It looks bad, you guys. So these have been restored. I want to say that. They look good. They don't look great. And I should also say VCI did not do the restorations for these. These were restored in Mexico by a Mexican organization, and they're credited at the end of the transfers. They don't look... But see, I don't know what the materials were like to begin with. To my eyes, there's a lot of DNR. The film grain is just not there. It's kind of waxy, which leads me to believe there's a lot of DNR. Maybe they did the DNR. Maybe they applied it so heavily because it was just in such bad shape. I don't know. I'm trying to limit myself to like, well, here's what I saw. Here's what I know. So it's a dub. We have the K. Gordon Murray dub, and then we have new dubs. And I don't love the dub. I would rather watch them in the authentic original Spanish, but that's not an option. And I honestly don't know if it's ever going to be an option. You know, when these, previously in 2020, VCI, through this deal, through this company, through this partnership with the Mexican film studios, they released the Batwoman and the Panther Girl movies. They released Santo and the Treasure of Dracula. They released the color, unrated, explicit version of that, the naughty version. There were two versions. That's all we were going to talk about this. We're going to talk about it now. There are two versions. There's the original black and white that was made for a Mexican audience, more family friendly. And then at the same time, they shot that movie in color with like nudity and all kinds of stuff. So VCI has already released that. This is the family safe black and white version that was originally for Mexican audiences. So those that came out previously have the English dub. And at that time in 2020, people were like, well, Kino Lorber is going to be putting out a better set of this that has the Spanish language. Guess what? No, they didn't. Kino Lorber did not get the rights to that. I think they went to VCI. There's talk right now that Powerhouse Indicator out of the UK has a box set of Santo Mexican films like this coming. And I think that that's true, but the titles that I've seen that are going to be included in that box set are not the titles that are in this set. So we don't know. As of right now, as of this video, this is the only way to see restored, cleaned up versions of the 8 Santo movies that are here. But you'll be watching them with a dub. If I can find out more information, I've been asking questions behind the scenes. If I can find out more information, I will let you know. I'm going to be reviewing these one at a time. I've already watched the first movie and will be posting a review in the next few days. They're tremendous fun. They're so fun. It's a wrestler fighting crime, and he's got like a bat cave, and he's got a cool convertible, and the women are gorgeous, and they, like in the first movie in Santo and the Wax Museum. So the Wax Museum, it's got like Frankenstein and the Wolfman and Gary Cooper is in the Wax Museum. But then there's also like real people that are pretending to be wax. And then what do you think happens when you've got real actors pretending to be wax figures? Of course, they come to life. It's so much fun. And there are 3, count them 3. I can do it now. There are 3, boink. There are 3 full wrestling matches in the movie in Santo and the Wax Museum. 3 full luchador. It's not like Rey Mysterio. It's not like the real modern luchador style where they're 619ing and stuff. It's more like brawler style. A lot of oh man, Santo picks this guy up in the first movie and he suplexes him onto concrete. And I'm just like, ooh, because right, this can't feel good. Anyway, these are out now. This is just the beginning of a conversation about the Santo movies. I'm tremendously happy that they're on Blu-ray. The caveat aside, it's a big caveat, but that caveat aside, I'm tremendously happy. It's a fairly loaded edition too. So here's the movies that are involved, and they also, each one has an introduction by Dr. David Wilt, who's sort of a Mexican movie mexploitation expert. So he's giving us an introduction to each of these movies. And he also, there's a video interview with the late Rene Cardona III, who is the guy behind most of these movies. The History of Santo, that's a video by Dr. David Wilt. And then there's a Santo poster and photo gallery. So the value, so this is like $50 for 8 movies. You break that, then what's that, $6 and something per movie? So weigh that in. They're not charging $35 per movie. They're charging, a very approachable price for what it is. If you love these movies, as it stands now, this is like the only way to see most of these movies. Even I was looking for the Spanish language version of Santo and the Wax Museum on YouTube and on the internet. I couldn't find it. I could find the AIP version, but it looked terrible. And this is the restored version, and it's the same dub. Anyway, I've spent too much time on it, but I'm very pleased with it for what it is, and hopefully I can find out some more information. But things are not done. Just remember that. Anytime you see something that doesn't make sense to you, it probably didn't make sense to the people making the deal either, but they did what they had to do. We don't know. Those are backdoor conversations. Those are not things that are meant for us to know about. But if I can find out, I will. All right. From Makeflix Entertainment. Hopefully you guys know about this because we talked about it. I was going to say we certainly, and we talked about it, and it came out. We certainly talked about it. We talked about this in my conversation. It was like a Makeflix Indie Creator Roundtable around Black Friday season of 2021. It was J.R. Bookwalter. It was Fred Olin Ray. It was David Sterling talking about the challenges of independent filmmaking and also kind of hyping Black Friday sales. And if you saw that video, then you know that Shocking Shorts and Bloodletting were Black Friday like pre-order exclusives, and they're just shipping now. Shocking Shorts is J.R. Bookwalter's like his original, the shorts of his youth, his actual shorts that he wore as a child. No, they're his childhood his finding himself, cutting his teeth, learning the process. I love this stuff. Full disclosure, these have arrived less than 24 hours ago, and I have not been able to watch either one of them yet, but I will. These will be reviewed, and that review will show up at CerealAtMidnite.com. But check this out. So Shocking Shorts has this beautiful slipcover that is signed by Mr. Bookwalter. Has the alternate artwork beneath. Loaded up with goodies, you guys. 2K restoration of 24 Super 8mm short films presented in the 4:3 aspect ratio. Digital 2.0 sound remix. 2022 audio commentary by J.R. Bookwalter. 2K restored outtakes and unfinished work with 2022 audio commentary. That's 32 minutes long. 2K restored Every Breath You Take music video with an optional 2022 audio commentary. It's 4 minutes. 2K restored Go Insane blooper reel. That's 10 minutes. The Accident, a 1988 short film with optional 2004 audio commentary. And then the Black Friday 2021 teaser. Almost 2 hours worth of shorts and then all the extra stuff. It's wonderful, but wait. Also, the soundtrack for the shorts, the soundtrack for this collection as well. This nice color insert. Now in sound. I love this stuff. When I saw the trailer, it just made me so happy because I love to see people's passion, you know? The internet just tears everything down. It just takes a big a Cleveland steamer all over everything. There's so much hate on the internet, but when you see like genuine creative passion, it's in that. It's so much fun. I was just watching that Super 8 experience in the movie Super 8. Just this idea of these kids, these young people in the suburbs making movies. It's amazing. It makes me... How do you not connect with joy when you watch that? So, okay, so that's Shocking Shorts. Set that to the side. And then we also have Bloodletting, which is the James L. Edwards, Ariana Albright's movie. Directed by Matthew Jason Walsh. I was like, hold on, make sure. Yeah, written and produced and directed by Matthew Jason Walsh. This is the signed edition of this as well. Again, I don't think you can buy these right now. I think this was a pre-order, but maybe, hopefully, you'll get if you missed it, hopefully you'll get a chance to purchase the disc. Maybe a non-special edition in the future. I hope so. So we have the Blu-ray. We have a booklet. We have the 1997 VHS version soundtrack. Wait a minute. We also have the 2003 version soundtrack. And I think this is the DVD version. Yeah, the DVD version that contains DVD ROM content. So you're totally covered there as far as, complete, being a completist. And then check it out. Even alternate artwork. What do we call this? Reversible art wrap. I think that's what we say. The whole Makeflix business model is so impressive to me. And Mr. Bookwalter is really just nailing the value and the customer service. I have yet to hear, because I like to say, when I cover this stuff, you guys let me know. I always say, well, let me know how your experience goes. I've never heard anything but positive things about the Makeflix experience. And you can see why. Because it's just... Let me get this one back out. It's just top shelf. I'll show you the spines, too. These limited editions. They're just beautiful. So these will take a joyful place on my shelf next to... That's the chair. Now, try to get it to do it again, and it doesn't do it. Next to Robot Ninja and Skinned Alive and so many more. So who else picked those up? Did you guys pre-order that based on did anybody see that round table and then pre-order? I would love to know. I'd love to hear from you. And what do you think about it? All right, guys, let's move on to MVD. There it goes again. That was the chair. I don't remember if I talked about this in a video or not, but it's Ghost Riders. So I reviewed this for CerealAtMidnite.com, but I can't remember if we talked about it here in a video. In a VDO. I like VJO better. In a VJO. Because I'm Southern, man. I talked about it in a video. Okay. Ghost Riders is a 1987... It's like a really micro-budget movie. And... for a micro-budget movie, it's amazing. Like, the things that they accomplished. You watch the movie with a certain set of expectations, compared to something like, Transformers or something, you're going to be disappointed. But this movie was made for $58,000 in 1987. It shot on film. I think it was shot on 16, blown up to 35. Lived most of its life on VHS. It was made for the video market. It looks so good. It's amazing what these movies can look like when they've been cleaned up and when people put some love behind them. And it's got some great special features too. So audio commentary with the producer and the writer. So the director of photography and producer Thomas L. Calloway, and then the writer-producer James Dismaris, moderated by Steve Latshaw. That's a great commentary. There's like nothing off the table. They talk. There's like things that happened that went wrong behind the scenes, actors, stories, bringing out the ghosts, the making of Ghost Riders. That's a new original documentary that runs about 30 minutes, and it is good. It is really good. Low budget films on the set of Ghost Riders. That's a vintage documentary. I love this. So this movie shot in Texas. It's regional. By the way, I should have led with that. This is regional horror. But it's not just horror. It's also a Western, and it's also an action movie. I would say it's more of an action movie than it is a horror movie. But we are dealing with ghosts. But it's ghosts you can shoot, which is kind of fun. Because they wanted to shoot people on the set of the movie. They wanted to be able, hey, it's Texas, right? There's this vintage video short that was shot for the college there. I think it was Baylor. Shot for Baylor. And it's like vintage 1987 for the film department, right? So it's like they talk about independent movies, they talk about low budget movies, and they talk about the business model, about how you have to make a certain amount of money based on your investment to make it profitable. Fascinating stuff. And then they talk to the director, who has passed away now, Alan L. Stewart. But it's a wonderful look at how this stuff's made in the first place. Because I see a lot, I see what you guys see. Which is that there's a lot of people that are just taking dumps on things. And the reviews for this, I saw some very unfair, very hot takes on this movie that I don't think are accurate. And so often these hot takes become the narrative that just doesn't even get questioned anymore. Oh, well, everybody thinks so-and-so. No, everybody doesn't. For a $58,000 movie shot in Texas by people who had never really made a movie before, it's a fascinating story, and it's a very watchable movie that fans of independent movies and low-budget movies can watch and study and be better themselves. That's the learning aspect of this. There's so many film school lessons here. And I should say the director went to film school in California, so there's a lot to learn from this stuff. So I love this package. It's a great what's the word? Chronicle. It's a great chronicle of the making of a low-budget movie. And it's almost like the movie then becomes a support document for the story. You know what I mean? It's not the other way around, where it's like, well, the story kind of tells the making of the movie. The movie is almost like a backup feature for the story of how this movie was made. This is an incredible package. So review at CerealAtMidnite.com. I gotta say, it feels good to be able to say that over and over. Review at CerealAtMidnite.com. That before I have even come to you with some of this stuff, it's already been reviewed and just waiting for you to see it. Also from MVD, part of the Rewind collection is Liar's Moon. Now this is Matt Dillon and Cindy Fisher. I haven't watched this yet, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'd never even heard of it before this was announced. I was like, what? This looks familiar to me, but maybe I must have never watched it. Hey, while we're talking about Matt Dillon in, what year is this? 1981. While we're talking about early Matt Dillon, can we get Over the Edge on disc? He's in that, right? Doesn't Matt Dillon show up in Over the Edge? Anyway, we need that one. All right. So we have alternate artwork. MVD Entertainment, MVD Rewind Collection always brings top quality. We have the mini poster. If you want to open your own video store and line it with video cover art, looks like a videotape. The attention to detail, man. So this has here, I'll hold this up while I'm talking. Has a new Making of Liar's Moon documentary in 105 minutes. 1 hour and 45 minutes on the making of this movie. With the writer-director David Fisher, the co-writer Janice Thompson, actress Tanya Walker, the composer and songwriter Ray Benson, Janine Hanna, the wife of producer Billy Hanna, production manager Susan Vogelflang, and the set decorator Maria Queso. So come on, you guys. The music of Liar's Moon. That's a 14-minute feature. Alternate ending in standard definition, the theatrical trailer, reversible artwork, the poster. What I say this a lot, and I'm going to keep saying it. What a time to be a fan of this stuff. Who would have ever thought that you'd have so many? You wouldn't just get this movie in the best format, in the Blu-ray format. You'd also get a nearly 2-hour documentary about the making of the movie. What studio is doing that? Who at Warner Brothers is doing a 1 hour and 45-minute documentary? Or any of these studios? None of them. The stories for these movies are being lost, but MVD's keeping it going, and I appreciate that. That means so much to me. Also from MVD, producing SRS Cinema. This is The Legend of the Stardust Brothers, another movie I've never heard of until I got an opportunity to review it. Haven't watched it yet. This is still in my stack, but this is the North American debut of The Legend of the Stardust Brothers. It's from the 80s. It is 1980. I'm looking for it. 1985. And I should say that this is in Japanese with English subtitles. There's no dub. It's Japanese with subtitles. Meet the Stardust Brothers, a 1980 Japanese pop duo manufactured by a shady music mogul when he brings together two wannabe stars, a punk rock rebel and a new wave crooner. And so that's interesting. The idea of manufactured product, like think of like the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and 98 Degrees and those manufactured groups. But I guess it wasn't new. It wasn't new even in 1985. So I'm really excited to check this out. This is who is this from? The Hollywood News says this is one beautiful curiosity that will certainly have explorers of film researching, detailing, and championing its existence. So seems like a pretty deep cut. It is DVD. I do not think there's a Blu-ray for this. But if this is your jam, this is out. Two more things that I don't remember if we've talked about or not, but The Capture, which is a John Sturges movie that is making a Blu-ray debut from The Film Detective. Now, we're living in a golden age of John Sturges, right? Because we got The Great Escape. So many of his movies are, why name them? A bunch of John Sturges movies are hitting disc for, well, The Great Escape's not for the first time, but we just got the 4K for that. So we're getting a reassessment of Sturges' career. This has existed in the public domain for a while. And it feels like anything that's in the public domain is easily dismissed because the transfers are always bad on wherever they pop up, because of course they're in the public domain. And I don't know, it's like there's the bar has been lowered, so there's less study of them. This fixes that. So this is The Film Detective, great new transfer. It's not a perfect transfer because, you go with the best available source elements, but it's a much bigger, it's a big improvement on what we've had up until now. And I can't imagine it's ever going to look any better than it does right here, right now. Really big show. Lou Ayres is the the protagonist. It's a Western. I was going to say Lou Ayres is the protagonist. Teresa Wright is kind of the star of this movie because she's the one that's doing so much of the emotional heavy lifting. A review for it at CerealAtMidnite.com. There, I get to do it again. Go check it out at CerealAtMidnite.com. If you're reading this, if you're looking at this on your phone or on your computer, just scroll down. Links right there. Boom. Links right there. It's a Western that's set in the modern. It's set in 1950, which is when when it was made. It's a noir. It's a romance. So many of these movies at this particular time in history weren't one thing. They were fluid. You know, so we say film. Oh, that's a film noir. Well, film noir is a style, and you look at something like, you know, one of those like a Raymond Chandler kind of a thing, very distinctly noir, but it's a tone that seeps into certain things. You can have a romance with noir themes. You can have a fantasy with noir themes, Western with noir leanings. Anyway, it's a wonderful package. It's got great special features. Audio commentary by my friend C. Courtney Joyner, who will be returning to Serial at Midnight very soon. It's already been shot. Just got to get edited and up for you guys. Teresa Wright, The Actress Next Door feature. John Sturgis, Man of Action feature. Not Quite Picture Perfect. An essay by author Don Stradley. Great stuff. The Film Detective has become, I like to say this, but The Film Detective has become one of the most notable labels to watch. They are the label to watch. They have put out so much. They're putting out stuff about once a month now, if you're paying attention. Now, they've been around forever. They've been putting stuff on Blu-ray for a long time, but not like this. Not like, here's another one, The Dancing Pirate. Actually, it's not it's just Dancing Pirate. They are really leaning into these special editions, again, about one a month. And pressed Blu-rays, factory pressed Blu-rays, commentaries, documentaries, booklets, you know, essays. It's amazing stuff. So Dancing Pirate is a 1934, again, it's 1936 review at CerealAtMidnite.com. We gave one of these away too. Hopefully everybody saw that. We gave one of these away. It is a very early, it's the first Technicolor musical, very early Technicolor movie, and it just didn't really catch on for some reason. You know, it's got a star, Charles Collins. Does anyone remember who Charles Collins was? Well, you will after this, but until now, he kind of fell off the radar. There was a dancer, he was an actor. This was basically his big debut, his big star-making turn that just didn't quite work. Frank Morgan, who's the wonderful Wizard of Oz, you know, the bumbling professor that is in the 1939 musical, the MGM Wizard of Oz. He's also the doorman and the carriage driver and the guard, right? So Frank Morgan's in this, and Steffi Duna. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful. I'm not going to review it because the review is at CerealAtMidnite.com. You can see what works. You can see what doesn't. It's an interesting curiosity for the film fan, especially for people who like 30s movies, because you can see it's the first of so much. And it has a place in the conversation, you know? And that's something else. Like, thank goodness, I saw somebody, where did I see this? Somebody said something like, that movie wasn't a hit. Why would it get a Blu-ray or something like that? And I was like, thank goodness that's not the world we're living in right now. Only if something was a hit does it get a Blu-ray. Because for me, I want to learn and explore. And I want to explore Frank Morgan's resume and Charles Collins. Why did Charles Collins not take off as a star? If you don't see the movie, you can't make up your mind about those things. This is another one that's in the public. Film Detective primarily works with a lot of public domain stuff. Not exclusively, but primarily. And this is another one that you might have this in one of those 50 movie packs, but it looks like crap. And now it looks great because it's been restored. And I should also say, this is a movie that was believed to have been lost. Just poof, lost. There was a black and white version that survived, but the color version, complete, it was just discovered a few years ago. And now this is the result of that restoration over the past few years. Financing it, funding it, getting it restored. This stuff takes years and thousands of dollars. But here it is. So this has a commentary by Jennifer Churchill. Glorious Pioneers, The Birth of Technicolor. That's an interview with author historian David Pierce. And Ambushed by Mediocrity, Remembering the Dancing Pirate. That's an interview with the film producer and historian Michael Schlesinger. Great stuff. Great stuff. And I'm ending with something that is truly spectacular. And this is not the only time. this pops up in Classic Film Flavors episode 3 as well, but since this is going up before that, I wanted to talk about this with you guys. This is Flicker Alley's new Blu-ray of Repeat Performance, a little seen, lost 1947 film noir. Is it film noir? That's part of the question. It's a supernatural movie. It's got romance in it. It's a melodrama, and it has noir elements as well. Eddie Muller does the introduction to this. He wanted to show this at one of his early film noir festivals. I want to say it was about 15 years ago, and probably closer to 20 actually. And they got the print, and they were going to show the print, and then they found out it's in such bad shape you can't show it. So then the process begins to restore this movie, to save it so people can watch it. And so again, years later, thousands of dollars later, the UCLA, I want to make sure I credit everybody. Restored by UCLA Film and Television Archive and the Packard Humanities Institute. The Film Noir Foundation is in that mix as well. And it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And Flicker Alley always brings this approachable learning package. Like if you want to just watch the movie, you can just watch the movie. But if you want to learn about the movie, they got you covered. So there's a lengthy book here. So this was based on a novel, 1942, I believe. And this is sort of a comparison of the novel with the movie. But it also has a lot of, look, we've got the poster, we've got lobby cards in there. It's this nice little complete, I think it's 24 pages if I remember correctly, story of the movie itself. We've got reversible artwork with the original film poster, which I love. And then the special features. So there's a sort of a video essay sort of a thing about there's the introduction by Eddie Muller, which is great. And it's welcoming, which is one of the things I appreciate so much. There's a profile on the actress Joan Leslie by film historian Farron Smith Nimi. This is the thing that really, I was like, whoa. There is a 35 minutes retrospective on Eagle Lion, the Eagle Lion Poverty Row film studio distributor, however you want to say that. Poverty Row, I love Poverty Row. I did a video about Poverty Row with C. Courtney Joyner. Poverty Row is a story that it doesn't get told. Those movies have not been respected. They have. This makes a good companion piece actually to the film, the films Team In, He Walked by Night, and Raw Deal from, I wasn't planning on doing this. All right, here's Raw Deal. Here we go. From Classic Flicks, Team In, He Walked by Night, and Raw Deal. I think all three of these are possibly Eagle Lion. Don't quote me. Do your own independent research. But Poverty Row, right? Out of this system comes Anthony Mann, comes John Alton, and it's a 35-minute retrospective on the Eagle Lion studio. Now, we celebrate some of the horror aspects, like Bela Lugosi's time at Monogram and stuff like that. But outside of horror, this story's not being told. And Alan K. Rhodey is the guy behind this documentary. And he is the guy that goes into these archives and looks at the film. He's looking at the archives. He's looking at the logs, the original press materials. He's looking at notes and transcripts of conversations. True film historian. True archivist. And he's the guy that's guiding us through this conversation. It is fascinating. It is like I will be watching this thing over and over again. Audio commentary track by Nora Fiore, the Nitrate Diva. The promotional press book, a digital version of the original 1947 press book, which is, that's cool. And then that souvenir booklet. So Flicker Alley doing just incredible stuff for movie fans. This is a movie that was lost, that you could not see. You just couldn't see it. And now, it's airing on cable, and we have this beautiful, it's a Blu-ray and a DVD, so they got you covered. If you're not Blu-ray ready yet, if you're only DVD, you're covered here. So love this. More conversation about this pops up in Classic Film Flavors episode 3. I'm gonna do one more thing here because I love music, and let's cleanse our palate from the movies really quick, and let's talk about something that I love. We have a new Lux and Ivy collection from Cherry Red Records out of the UK. This is on the Righteous label. This is Sinners and Penguins doing Lux and Ivy say flip your top. Sinners and Penguins doing the San Francisco twist. The reason I love these compilations, and this is a 2-disc. Hold on. Wait. This popped out. Okay. It's a 2-disc collection of real obscure 50s and 60s jukebox kind of hits, you know? But what's great about the Lux and Ivy collections, for people that are like me, is that it's not the usual suspects. So there's stuff here by groups you may have heard of, like the Egyptians. Maybe you've heard of the Egyptians. They had, I believe the Egyptians had one. So here, I'm going to dig the booklet out here. First of all, we should appreciate the art on the booklet. We should also appreciate the rear case art. Because it's all part of it. It's all part of the charm. Yeah, so the Egyptians' concept of flipping their top is central to this eclectic collection of unhinged tunes. It was the B-side of an R&B band's only single, That's All Right, a timeless party anthem that we can all get behind, as was Alan Netty's sax-led sloucher San Francisco twist. So the Egyptians, one single, everybody's playing the A-side, the B-side is here. That's the stuff that I love so much because this stuff is easily lost. And I should say, Lux and Ivy is more of a brand name, right? This is more, Lux and Ivy, the cats behind the Cramps. And I don't think anybody at their estates are curating this collection. In fact, I can tell you that the person behind these is Dave Henderson from Mojo Magazine. He's writing these liner notes, and as far as I know, he's choosing these tracks. But I love it. It's such a deep dive. By the way, I read the other day that deep dive is one of the most overused terms, and they're like trying to retire it. No, thank you. Deep dive sums up very well what we're trying to say. It is a deep immersion in really obscure, off-the-wall, crazy, weird 50s and 60s music. And as you know, I love the movie versions of that stuff. I love weird, wonderful, off-the-wall movies. So the music just becomes an extension of my passion. And you just can't find this stuff. If you had the know-how, if you had a list, maybe you'd go find all this stuff. But the fact that it's all curated in these Lux and Ivy collections, it's wonderful. I reviewed the Crime Jazz collection for CerealAtMidnite.com. And it's a walk down the familiar alleyway of film noir, and then you go down on another side street and you're like, whoa, where am I? It's all these weird, obscure things that you don't expect. It's from it's from a soundtrack that you might expect, right? So it's like Johnny Staccato. Maybe you know what that is. If you do know what that is, maybe you're expecting this one particular thing. No, they're going to give you something much deeper. It's always like, you go to YouTube or something. Here's an example. You go to Netflix, go to Transformers. Okay, I don't know if Transformers. I always go to Transformers because I feel like Transformers is always going to be everywhere. You go to Transformers, then those who watch this also watch blah. You click that. Then you go down another level, down another level, down another level. Within about 8 levels, you're in a no man's land, a part of Netflix that nobody goes to, that's this like hidden thing. That's what these Lux and Ivy collections are. And I love that. So all that goes to say, this is out. And I think it's really cool. We have a lot of people who are like me, a lot of archaeologists, and a lot of the guys who like the deep cuts, right? So for all my deep cut friends out there, Lux and Ivy's new collection is out. It's pretty great. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this Fresh Flavors. Huge, epic video. We've covered so much ground here. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. What are you excited about? What are you picking up? Again, there's so many jumping off points here. I don't want this to be a one-way, a one-sided thing where I talk to you and then you just go about your merry way. I want to engage. I want you to talk to me about what you think about this stuff, what you're buying, what you're watching. And that's where the magic happens, baby. All right. Stay tuned for our contest. You know where to go. And remember, links are in the description of this video, as are links to all the reviews mentioned. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Take care. Until next time, here's where to go and what to do.